Badgers at Nebraska on Saturday, the second of 3 trophy games that Wisconsin is involved with during this month of November. We'll check out some of the highlights from the game in Lincoln. You know full well that the University of Wisconsin loves its fullbacks. Got a few of them in the NFL, and they're still going strong. We'll take you inside the life of a fullback here as a Wisconsin Badger, and we'll have our weekly sit-down with head coach Paul Chryst. All coming up on today's edition of the Badger Sports Report.
Snap to Martinez, pressured by Orr, who gets Martinez outside the 40-yard line. You may remember a couple of years ago, Nebraska in an opening drive, Chris Orr factored into it heavily with a pick six. This time it gets to Martinez with a sack, and Nebraska has a third down and 14 for the Badger 40. Snap to Martinez, Badgers bringing 3. Martinez in trouble again, and he is sacked again. And this time it's Zach Bond. So 2 of the Badgers, who are among the conference leaders in getting to the quarterback, do so in consecutive plays. This kick into the wind will give Cruikshank an opportunity. Aaron Cruikshank, right side, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Cruikshank to 40, 45, 50, down the sideline, 40, 35, 30. He's to the 20, he's to the 10, the 5. Touchdown, Wisconsin. Aaron Cruikshank brings it all the way back, 89 yards.
I saw a big open lane. Thankful for number 44, everybody on the kickoff return really, but number 44 and number 14, they just let me in there and I just had to beat the kicker, and that's one job you have to do. So I'm thankful I did my job. I couldn't go out of bounds. Like, so much times of just being break one, getting so close. I was like, back juke one time to see if it worked. It worked. Thankful.
Football is a game of momentum, and any time that you can answer a score, which is something that, okay, there's a feeling to it. And if you can answer that, you'd love to match a touchdown. A couple times it was field goal, but regardless, if you can answer a score with a score, I think that's a sign of a good offense. And today we were able to do it. It felt like, and obviously AC's was big. Didn't get to the offense, but I think that's huge.
Left side end zone, touchdown Wisconsin. It's popped loose and it's picked off by Wisconsin all alone. Here's Taylor, he's gone. Touchdown Wisconsin. Ferguson catches at the 40, 35-yard line, makes a man miss. A big win for the Wisconsin Badgers.
The Badger Sports Report with Paul Chryst is presented by Hy-Vee, where there's a helpful smile in every aisle. Hy-Vee proudly supports the Wisconsin Badgers. And UW Health Sports Medicine, the healthcare team for the Badgers. Learn more at uwsportsmedicine.org.
Winter in Wisconsin, it's a time for going all the way up and throwing down. It's a time for discovering something cool and gathering somewhere warm. Whether you want to spend winter inside, outside, or both, there's something for everyone in Wisconsin.
They are the ones who found a way to isolate a single prostate cancer cell hidden amongst a billion healthy blood cells. The ones pioneering advanced genomic testing in order to create personalized treatment protocols. They are the ones you want to talk to when the diagnosis is prostate cancer. They are the physicians and healthcare professionals at UW Health and the Carbone Cancer Center. UW Health. Remarkable.
The Learfield IMG College Directors Cup, the highly recognized mark of distinction in college athletics across all divisions, both men's and women's sports. Follow your favorite team's pursuit for excellence in this prestigious annual award through thedirectorscup.com, USA Today, or L Directors Cup on Twitter. Learfield IMG College Directors Cup, the crowning achievement in college athletics since 1993.
A.J. Taylor out there. Quintez Cephas to the right. Roshek, the running back. Shotgun snap to Cone. Pressure coming. Jack throws over the middle. Caught by A.J. Taylor. Inside the 40. Still at 35. Still going 30. 25, 20. A.J. Taylor all the way. Touchdown, Wisconsin. Oh, what work after the catch from A.J. Taylor, and the Badgers regain the lead. Martinez out of the gun, takes the snap. Badgers rushing 3. Martinez with all day. Pass deflected, and it's picked up by Sanborn at the 30 of Nebraska, inside the 25 and down to the 21-yard line. Well, if you can't get to the quarterback, get your hands up. The Badgers do just that, and Sanborn gathers for the INT. 2nd and 1 at the Huskers 11-yard line. Cruikshank again, motions right, hand off Taylor, running left, turns it back right, inside the 10, inside the 5, to the end zone. Touchdown, Jonathan Taylor from 11 yards away, and the Badgers now lead it 33-14.
Every time you win a big trophy game or even a Big West opponent game, honestly a Big Ten game in general, you do feel good because you definitely have earned it. And especially today, being on the ground game a lot, really moving those guys up front, controlling line of scrimmage, like that is a good feeling coming from a Big Ten West opponent.
We've obviously had some mistakes in previous weeks. We've been working really hard to fix them, and it was really awesome to see that show up today. We've been paying a lot more attention to detail on those aspects, and we were able to lock it down today, and it was awesome to see our work pay off.
You always want to make sure you capitalize on mistakes or big plays. That's the biggest thing. The momentum shift is real in college football. So whenever the defense makes a mistake on the other team, or whether the offense makes a big play, you got to make sure you always capitalize on it.
I was actually spying. I was just spying the cue. Didn't want to press too much because I could have just easily gotten picked up. So I'm kind of just mirroring him. As I saw him take his hand off the ball, just get my hands up.
It's a bend but don't break defense. They wanted to turn it into a track meet, and they did a good job of that. But then we just controlled them in situations we can control them. And getting those 4th down stops were big.
That's not a normal defense for us, but I think we did enough to, hold the ground and give offense the ball back. They were hot this game, so hats off to them. They had a great game plan. I think we had a great game plan. We didn't execute the way we wanted to, but I think we got the job done with the 3 4th down conversions that we stopped them. So I think it was a great team win.
This is where great things happen, where technology and discovery beautifully intertwine with compassion and care, where patients with the most serious of conditions come for the most successful of treatments. This is where you'll find some of the brightest minds in medicine, changing people's lives for the better. This is UW Health. And yes, this is where great things happen. UW Health. Remarkable.
Winter in Wisconsin, it's a time for going all the way up and throwing down. It's a time for discovering something cool and gathering somewhere warm. Whether you want to spend winter inside, outside, or both, there's something for everyone in Wisconsin.
Taylor, the running back, handoff Taylor straight ahead. JT 23 spins across the 25 and gets up to the 28-yard line, and that will move Jonathan Taylor past Archie Griffin. A 7-yard run for Taylor as he moves past Archie Griffin for 2nd most career rushing yards ever in the history of the Big Ten Conference. Handoff Jonathan Taylor into the line, and JT 23 gets stood up at the 19-yard line. And that will be a gain of 3 yards for Jonathan Taylor. And that means Jonathan Taylor has the most rushing yards in college football history for a running back by the end of his junior season. So here in the last few minutes, he has passed Archie Griffin for second place in the Big Ten. And a moment ago, he passed Herschel Walker, most rushing yards in college football by a player by the end of his junior season.
They told me after the game, I didn't know that was a thing. There's a stat for everything. So once they told me, afterwards, it's still just to be mentioned with those guys. It's an incredible honor. But I celebrated with the O-line afterwards. We got a picture together after I told them. They were like, "Oh, we need to get a picture." I was like, "Yeah, we do." So that was good. We got a snapshot with the offensive line after the game.
Nebraska game behind them. Kind of hard to believe that the Badgers have come down to the final 2 games of the regular season, and the final home game coming up this Saturday against the Purdue Boilermakers. And as we hit the final stretch here of the regular season, it's important, as you always say, the story is still being written. But one of the fun parts, even as someone in my shoes, just watching these guys play, is how they progress either during the season or during their careers. And the good news is you've had a lot of guys do that. It's not just Jonathan Taylor,
right,
as special as he is. Some guys up front, Paul, that I know we've talked either on or off air, the continued growth of a Tyler Biotish, a Bruss, a Van Lanen. It has to be pretty good stuff from a coach's perspective to see those guys continue to get better and better.
No, it really is, and that's, I think, one of the fun parts about the opportunity that we get to coach them. And I think, as you said, certainly there's growth from, all those guys, you picture them when they were at camp, and as high schoolers, and then, when they sign. And so to see their growth as a player and as a person. But what I'm really happy to see and proud of for those guys is that I do think that during this season they have truly grown. And I think you put, Jason Erdman in that group as well, and what he's been doing, and David Moorman. You take a look at that offensive line, and each one's got a little bit different story. Tyler has started a lot of games, but within that, seeing not just his play, but the maturity and the growth, the leadership, it's been awesome actually. And then Cole, he's had a number of snaps that he's played, but not a lot of starts. So to see him do that consistently and understand, there is something to that when we're going to play, every snap, and you go to the right tackle, and Logan Bruss has done a great job with that, and I think that he's continuing to grow as a player, and Erds and David are seniors, and it's kind of a new opportunity for him. Erds played a lot of snaps last year, David not so much, and so each guy's story is a little bit different, but truly it is fun to see the growth that they have over their career, certainly, but even during this season, I think there's been a tremendous amount of growth.
It was interesting to me. I talked with Cole Van Lanen earlier in the week, and no shortage of really good pass rushers that he has had to deal with. If it's a Chase Young and A.J. Epinesa, on and on, and he said really one thing that he finally was able to start doing was trust his own abilities. He's pretty good too, and you think back of that Iowa game where Epinesa, who's terrific, he made a play early, but was pretty quiet for a good portion of the game, and I think Cole was indeed trusting his abilities to be able to keep him away.
And that sounds so simple. And we as coaches, you talk it, but until a player truly internalizes that, and I think going up against really good players helps that. And I think that a number of our players, early when you go up against a Zach Bond every day in practice, and certainly in camp, that helps you. But it's an interesting part of players playing, and there's that, I think, having confidence and believing that you can do it, but then there's truly a trust, and it calms you down, and I think it also is helpful for a player because it brings you back to what can I control, what can I do, and the more you can focus on yourself in that regard, I think you play better.
You mentioned Zach Bond, and you've talked many times in the past about how you love it when the seniors are playing their best ball. Zach, Chryst, and they both have overcome a lot, right? But here they are. They persevered through that and putting together really good senior seasons.
Really good senior seasons, and it's, what it was, I think those two, when I think back, and obviously, like we were talking earlier, the growth over their career, and those two's careers have been very different. Chris played early and started early, and Zach kind of had a more of a natural progression where you're redshirt and then you're impacting special teams. Both have had overcome injuries. But what I'm most, I think what's been most satisfying to see is that both those guys made a decision from the very start of the year. I'm talking January and probably before that, but they were going to do everything they could to make this senior season the best they could be, and truly committed to it, and also enjoying it. You know, like truly having a blast playing every day they come here. There's energy to them, and it shows. You know, and so which comes first? You know, is it playing well that makes you happy and excited and energetic about it, or is it bringing that energy that allows you to play well? And I think two great examples for all of our team.
Chryst has always had that personality, right? And maybe Zach Vaughn has too. I just haven't. From the outside, I haven't seen her as much until this year.
Right.
Maybe to your point, Tyler Biotish until this year. Maybe they're always like that, but I think the rest of us maybe see that a little bit more now.
I think it's probably a little bit of both, and I think that, you know, Tyler, and probably rightfully so, last year almost deferred a little bit. You know, obviously Michael Dieter was a personality. I had a ton of respect for Bo Benchwell. You know, we had a senior offensive line, and so he wasn't going to necessarily trump that. And I think Zach has had kind of a natural progression, and I think as he's grown and he's gotten more confident with who he is and how he goes about his day-to-day business, I think that freed him up to also be a little bit more of a local leader. And certainly great personalities, and they had them throughout. Mm-hmm. But I think where you're seeing it and others are seeing it, I think because they're really confident who they are, and I think they're wanting people to see it.
Finally, quickly here with the preseason talk, I know it's not worth much, but they talked about the depth of this Big Ten conference and how the West is rising up. It's kind of playing out that way, isn't it?
Yeah, no, that part is true. And it is, I've never done it, but it probably would be, I don't think I'll ever do it, but you go back, you know, and what are they saying and how did it play out? But we certainly felt that going into the season. I think the season has played out that way, no question. And I've always thought that was one of the neat things about getting the opportunity to coach here was that it didn't matter when you were playing, who you were playing, you had a chance to win. Mm-hmm. But also if you didn't play well, you weren't going to get that chance to win. And I think it certainly is proven true this year. And I do think you're right. I think the West there's some good football teams, good coaches, and really good players.
I probably have more time in my hands than you, and I've done that at times, and usually they're wrong.
Yeah, so I mean, you wonder like what's the percent? You do the same thing in the recruiting rankings, you know. And there's some that, you know what, they were a high-level recruit, and they were an All-American college, and they were All-Pro, but those are more the exception than the rule. So it's we got to try to remember that and remind people before the season.
That's right.
But I don't think that's going to matter.
Probably not. Yeah, probably not going to work. Our Badgers conclude their home portion of the schedule coming up Saturday against the Purdue Boilermakers. Coach is back in a few minutes with the question of the week. Stick around.
There is a boy who likes tractors and trains. A boy whose heart was far too strained. He was sick, you see, with a heart that broke. His heart needed fixing. His family needed hope. Enter our doctors with their newfangled tests. Enter our teams whose care is the best. Healthy and happy, the little boy's back, playing with tractors and trains on his track. UW Health and the American Family Children's Hospital. Remarkable.
To the 45-40, outside the numbers, to the 30.
Everywhere you look, Jonathan Taylor is making big plays.
Inside the 25, to the 23.
But if you look closer, he's often following in the footsteps of another teammate.
Nice block thrown by fullback Stocky on Colbert.
You have a fullback in front of you, you understand. You don't even have to make the first guy miss because you know the fullback in front of you is going to completely take him out of the picture, so you really just have to worry about the second guy.
Oddly enough, many teams don't even use the fullback anymore.
And the handoff goes to John Chanel, the fullback into the end zone. Touchdown, Wisconsin.
I think it is a little bit of the abnorm now. It used to be the norm, but you never know. It might come right back in style again.
That style has never really left Wisconsin, who has made a habit out of putting fullbacks into the NFL.
Fingold, and he is in again. Touchdown.
They've held on to fullbacks, which is it's good for me, but it's just the the old nitty-gritty style of football, that ground and pound, and not a lot of teams have it, like you said. So I feel like it's been really beneficial to us, and it's just a trademark of Wisconsin as a whole, I think.
Part of it is because we've had some really good ones. You take a look at Alec Ingold. Fullback's still real. There's a great spot for him. And same thing with Derek Watt.
It's fun watching them, seeing them on Sundays, and being able to see what they can do and bring what they bring to the offense. It definitely seems like there's a need for a fullback.
Stocky, the fullback, with the first down.
They hardly ever get the headlines or the credit, so it takes a selfless, tough personality to play fullback. Luckily, these guys fit the bill.
Goal line blocking for JT, just head down, running fullback, busting the hole open for him. I think that'd be my biggest play, just making it easy for Jay to run the ball.
To me, it's basically like if I miss this block, he makes the tackle, and I don't want to be that person. So I go hard. I know my teammates going hard, so it's just boom, one-on-one.
So while the fullbacks paved the way for another historic Jonathan Taylor season,
The right side, Taylor bulldozes his way in. Touchdown, Wisconsin.
they look to former Badgers who paved the way at fullback for inspiration.
All the guys before us set a standard for what a great Wisconsin fullback looks like. So I just look up to them. Still in contact with Alec, just asking for tips, pointers here and there, but so far so good.
You kind of just want to follow the tradition. Like when I committed here, like I used to look up like Alec Ingold. I just watch him, watch what he does.
It's just like a really cool thing to kind of be in the shoes here and know the guys that have come before you, kind of try and follow in those footsteps.
And hopefully they keep the fullback position alive and well for years to come.
Goes to Stocky. He'll spin his way up the middle for the first down.
For the Badger Sports Report, I'm Eric Riley.
1 yard line of Northwestern and another third down.
Winter in Wisconsin, it's a time for going all the way up and throwing down. It's a time for discovering something cool and gathering somewhere warm.
Whether you want to spend winter inside, outside, or both, there's something for everyone in Wisconsin.
The Learfield IMG College Directors Cup, the highly recognized mark of distinction in college athletics across all divisions, both men's and women's sports. Follow your favorite team's pursuit for excellence in this prestigious annual award through thedirectorscup.com, USA Today, or L Directors Cup on Twitter. Learfield IMG College Directors Cup, the crowning achievement in college athletics since 1993.
The Badger Sports Report with Paul Chryst is presented by UW Health Sports Medicine, the healthcare team for the Badgers. Learn more at uwsportsmedicine.org.
Time for this week's question of the week, and it comes from Mark in Sun Prairie. He wants to know very simply, which do you prefer, the NFL overtime or the college overtime format?
Ooh, Mark, that's a good question. It's, I would say that what I like about the NFL is that all three phases, offense, defense, special teams, come into play. And I know in the college that the special teams, as far as your field goal unit, I do like the fact that I think you should have to earn the right to get points. I don't know that I could say, boy, I'd just take all of the NFL and it wouldn't change any of the college. I think it's a mixture. I think that if you had to earn the right to get into scoring position, that would make it a little bit better. I understand that, and I agree with this, you don't want to have a ton of more snaps. And I think that's where it was good even in the NFL to go from 15 to the 10. I don't have the exact answer. I'm just glad that we have an overtime. You still have to play to do it, and and I'll worry about those when the rules change. Thanks so much.
There you go, Mark. There's your answer. This Badgers conclude the home portion of the schedule coming up on Saturday at Camp Randall against the Purdue Boilermakers, and then the regular season finale the following week up at Minnesota. We'll talk to you next week. Thanks for watching.
They are the ones who found a way to isolate a single prostate cancer cell hidden amongst a billion healthy blood cells. The ones pioneering advanced genomic testing in order to create personalized treatment protocols. They are the ones you want to talk to when the diagnosis is prostate cancer. They are the physicians and healthcare professionals at UW Health and the Carbone Cancer Center. UW Health. Remarkable.
Progress is an endless challenge. Here at the University of Wisconsin, we're a community of innovators in constant motion. We think on our feet, connect with each other, and hit our stride, pushing past limits. Progress is an endless challenge, but it is only those up to the challenge who change the game.